talking about all these emotions, what are the main feedback that you have heard about visitors coming to see this exhibition?
I would say that I think a lot of people are not prepared and emotionally prepared, and I think honestly, I don't think you could ever really be emotionally prepared. As even my experience with Hugs Not Walls, which is the hashtag event name for what we're talking about. I mean, myself being an immigrant in Dhaka, I haven't seen my family in over 18 years, so I knew that I wasn't going to be emotionally prepared for an event like that. And working on this project for over 3 years with the artist and the curator, I also knew that I was never going to be emotionally prepared to even when the exhibition was fully open and when the event actually happened. So I think it is very moving. A lot of people feel that it's very raw. And I think that's the point of this exhibition, is to bring awareness. It's not here to really, it's an open discussion, right? But it's not really here to try to convince you about one side or the other. It is about giving you the transparency of the journey from the migrant perspective.
Hola comunidad, I'm Cristina Del Hoyo, Communications Manager here at Museo de las Americas, and also your host at the Museo Podcast on air. For those who don't know, Museo de las Americas here in Denver, Colorado, is the premier Latin American art museum in Colorado. And we've been here for 33 years in the Santa Fe Art District, the historic art district in Denver. And we focus on Latin American art and culture. And today is our very, very first episode podcast. So we are very excited to start this podcast, to get closer to our community and to share a lot of cool stories that we already have.
Number one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very first
Bienvenidos.
episode. Yeah, let's go. And today I'm here with my work colleague, Juan Carlos. Hi, Juan Carlos.
Hola, Cristina.
Hola.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for, giving us your time. So, Juan Carlos, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you started working here at Museo.
Yeah. So I started at Museo in 2020, actually, right during the pandemic. It was fall of 2020. I kind of stumbled a little bit upon Museo because I was my background's in architecture. So I was working as an architectural designer for a couple of years, and I was thinking about going back to school. So I quit my job and I was looking into programs with architecture school. And 2 weeks later, literally the pandemic happened.
Bad timing, yes.
Yeah. People thought it was going to be 2-3 weeks of a shutdown. And then, we're 6 months in and people were like, this thing might be longer than we thought.
Yes.
So during that time, I've been an artist as well before I went into architecture school. So I thought it would be a good time to kind of focus on the arts again. And I connected with our director here, Claudia Moran, and basically I offered myself as these are the things I can do, from my experience with architecture, and I offered to be a volunteer, and from volunteer in the fall into being now what I do now, which is exhibitions management and projects coordinator here at Museo de las Americas. So yeah, I started as a volunteer first in 2020, and now it's been my Museo birthday was a month ago in November. So
Yay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
happy
you.
anniversary, work anniversary.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. What kind of art do you do? You said you were an artist too, right?
Yeah, so before architecture school, which is how I focused mostly in art at the time, was a lot of two-dimensional, so classic fine arts with a lot of drawing, painting, and some experimentation with mixed media as well. And then after architecture school, I came out with all these different tools such as digital sculpting and a lot of more scale type of work. And now I'm just now I'm exploring kind of this combination between architecture and experience spaces and the 2D. We'll see where that takes me. But
so cool, very interesting. Well, tell us a little bit about your role here at Museo. I think you spoke a little bit about it, but tell us more. What do you do here?
Yeah. So I am lucky, feel blessed to be in the position I'm in. I get to work with the contemporary art at Museo de las Americas. So that's the space that you see us in here right now. My job is to coordinate with independent curators and artists to bring in exhibitions that will change throughout the year. And I work closely with our director, Claudia, to go over these and connect. And that can be anything from local to international exhibitions.
So right now we are here and we have our current exhibition. It's called Migrants, A Tale of Two Hearts. And we have art surrounding us right now, amazing art. So can you tell us a bit about that exhibition that we have currently?
Yeah. So this exhibition, the conversations for this exhibition started in, I would say, late 2021. We were approached by a couple artists, local artists, or based off of Denver, Jaime Bilkin Gerson and Cicel, who's the artist of the artwork that's right behind us here. So the exhibition at the time was just a conversation about bringing art and awareness about migrants and immigration, and specifically with the experience at the border in the United States. And that's how the conversation started, and that was eventually what turned into this exhibition after a couple of years of coordinating. These two artists helped us get in contact with a couple different curators, and we went through an interview process to work with them. And eventually, we worked with Rocio, who's the
Rocio
one
Guerrero.
Yes. Exactly, Rocio Guerrero, who ended up being the curator that we chose to be part of this project. And the focus of the exhibition it's about the migrant experience, with a little bit more focus on the border and what was happening at the time, with a little bit of kind of like what's currently happening now. So it was a conversation of 2 years of focusing on that experience and bringing a perspective into the journey of migrants and this idea of kind of not feeling like you're from your home anymore, but also you're still not fully like adapting to the new place and this new land and a new culture. So it's a little bit of that juxtaposition that we get to see through this exhibition.
A lot of the artworks that we have here at Museo in this current exhibition speak about those stories, right? Things that happen at the border. One project that is very interesting, and you have more information about that, is a 3-minute hug, and you were able to witness that project recently. So tell us a little bit about the project and a little bit about your experience seeing it and witnessing that.
Yeah. We mentioned a little bit about how the project was born, and we got these artists that approached us, Cicel and Jaime. Actually, so Cicel was one of the artists that has been going to this specific event at the border for, I think it's like over 6 times already, which means
wow.
And the event, so the specific event is put together by Borders with Border Network for Human Rights, and this organization has been doing this, I think, almost 11 or 12 times now over the course of the years. And Cicel is one of the artists as a photographer that has documented this project, and he, with another artist that is part of this show, Monica Lozano and the collective What Remains. She has been part of that project as well, and she's the one that connected with Cicel to go to this event. And basically, what they do, what this organization does, is they bring families from the U.S. side and connect them with their families from the Mexico side. And basically, it's families that get to see and embrace each other for 3 minutes. And that embrace is the moment of family members that haven't seen each other for either many years, others that go back whenever they can to this event and be able to see their family members, everything from single moms to full-on families to children from the U.S. side that get to see their parents or guardians. So I got to be part of this, to experience this event, actually, just this past November, shortly after this exhibition opened in October. So Cicel Lan, the artist, he was the one that told me the opportunity about being able to attend this event. So myself, along with one of our good friends from Museo, Shadi Maliki, with his production company, we went over there and accompanied Cicel with another videographer to document the day of the event. And let's just say that it was quite emotional to see families kids, and there was over 200 families that day, and it was about 6 hours of just nonstop bringing families that get to meet each other right at the border, right on the river, and you see the Mexico side with the families, and you see the U.S. side with the families, and they meet each other at the center and have 3 minutes to embrace, to hug, to talk, to take photos, videos, whatever that may be. And yeah, that was. It is depicted in this exhibition through some photography, some special installations, but that was one of the, I think, turning points that kind of started the whole conversation about this exhibition. That was really moving and inspirational about the awareness of what it means to be a migrant in the U.S. currently.
Yes, and you can see that emotionally charged, all these images that we have here in the back and in other spaces in this exhibition. It is so emotional, right? You can see hope, pain, love, suffering. Like, it's just so many mixed emotions. And so I can't even imagine actually seeing it in real life, right?
Yeah.
This is what I see when I look at some of these images that are just so moving. Talking about all these emotions, what are the main feedback that you have heard about visitors coming to see this exhibition?
I would say that I think a lot of people are not prepared and emotionally prepared, and I think honestly, I don't think you could ever really be emotionally prepared. As even my experience with Hugs Not Walls, which is the hashtag event name for what we're talking about. I mean, myself being an immigrant in Dhaka, I haven't seen my family in over 18 years. So I knew that I wasn't going to be emotionally prepared for an event like that. And working on this project for over 3 years with the artist and the curator, I also knew that I was never going to be emotionally prepared to even when the exhibition was fully open and when the event actually happened. So I think it is very moving. A lot of people feel that is very raw. And I think that's the point of this exhibition, is to bring awareness. It's not here to really, it's an open discussion, right? But it's not really here to try to convince you about one side or the other. It is about giving you the transparency of the journey from the migrant perspective. And this is from working with local artists that are based here in Denver to international artists that are in Mexico and other parts of along the border. So in Ciudad Juarez as well, and El Paso on the U.S. side. And I think that the feedback has been very much like, we needed something like this. And the feedback has also been about, no one else is doing this. And we've seen that environment, I think, in the arts community right now, that it is not necessarily a topic that everyone wants to talk about, or at least really face. And that's the beauty of art, right? We get to see it this way. We get to see it in this perspective. And it's about awareness more than anything. This exists. This experience exists, and people just need to know about it. You know, at the end, it's more about showing that human experience more than anything.
Yes, totally agree. Our art has that power, right, to communicate without words, and sometimes a lot more deeply, right, than words can go. You kind of like cover all my next questions. I guess my next question was going to be, what's the main purpose of this exhibition? What was the main purpose that I think I don't know if you want to add anything, but I feel like you already kind of like answered.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always so many layers that you can add to this. There's so much emotional, I think, and feelings that are in this show. Everything from the mixed media, I think, that we have, from installations, photography, as well as paintings and videography, and even found objects. So I would say that the other goal for this exhibition is that it's not just to bring awareness, but I think to bridge a connection and bring a perspective about, which I think has been lately and more recently, about what immigrants and kind of the migrants, right? I think the negative connotations that exist out there. It is to also bring awareness that there's a lot more than just what you may hear out there in the media, and what better way to bring this than through the experience of those migrants themselves who are artists, because it leaves for a lot of interpretation. But I think the awareness more than anything is that there's a lot of really raw connections, and bridging those connections of just humans in general. And that's whether it's through families, sacrifice, dreams, aspirations. You will get to experience that here through the art and through the collective of this work put together from the curator as well. I think that's the other thing I want to add to that is, it's not just awareness, but I think is how it's bridging those connections between us as humans, independently of where we are in the US or in the world.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I feel like something that I'm hearing also from everything you're saying is that it's giving voice, this exhibition and museo is giving a voice to all these stories from migrants, and it's stories from migrants themselves, right? So the authenticity, you can feel it, you can see it. It's not someone else telling you the stories of a migrant. It's a migrant telling you their story, and I think that has that raw power, right? That raw quality.
Yeah.
Because it's authentic.
And something to those perspectives too is, I'm glad you mentioned that, is migrants telling their story, and also migrants telling other people's stories from their migrant experience too. So it's not just, because there will be people here that are probably not necessarily super connected to a migrant experience. There might have been generations before them, family members before them that they've only heard stories of. But these migrant artists are also telling someone else's story from their migrant experience, right? So it's even a different perspective too than if it was someone who doesn't feel so close to the migrant experience. But they get to see the different perspective. They get to feel a different perspective. So that's important to also mention.
Yeah, and here in Denver, Colorado, we've been hearing a lot about migrants lately. So we've heard from you, right, the impact and the importance of this exhibition. But what about the fact that it's in Denver, Colorado? What other layer do you feel like, of relevance has for, from being here in Denver?
Yeah. Well, I think it's very important to acknowledge that Denver, and especially the home of Museo de las Americas here in the Santa Fe Arts District, we have a really rich culture and history, specifically during the Chicano movement, and there's also currently now, and with the migrants that are coming in specifically from Venezuela and Colombia, right? And Denver being a sanctuary city during this time, it makes it really crucial to have these kind of exhibitions or these kind of conversations, because at the end, this goes beyond art, right? It goes outside of art. It goes to talk about the community that we have here. Is we're a mixed community between immigrants. I think it really brings weight to not just the history of Museo de las Americas being part of those conversations, and even some of the founders of this museum were part of that Chicano movement in the 60s, and they're continuing to be artists and muralists that have been artivists for a long time. And now we have immigrants who are based in Denver, who are telling this story, who are artists, but they're also, they're artists here, like Jaime, who's a doctor. He's a practicing physician, like that. They have other lives too, right? So there are layers about why Denver. I think Denver had to be the place because of everything that we have going on now.
I feel like something that also the curator of the exhibition, Rocio Guerrero, she's from Mexico City. I went to, I did some interviews with her, and something that she kept saying was that migration is like a human process that has always been part of humanity and of our history. And I think it's something that it's an interesting idea to kind of like let it, how you say, like steep or soak or whatever Because, if you think about it, this is not something that is only happening in Denver or in the US, but this is something that affects, human beings at a global level, so globally, and has always been part of our nature, right? To move to a different place when you need it and when your family needs it, and to move to another place where you're going to have more food or more opportunities or more jobs or more, the climate is better or things like that, right?
Yeah.
When Rocio said that, I felt like it gave me another perspective of this is something that human beings have always been doing. This is it's nothing new, right? And then something else that I wanted to mention too, that Rocio always said, one of the purposes of this exhibition was to basically foster a little bit more empathy, right, between Denver residents, new immigrants, old immigrants.
A lot of what the exhibition brings here is that Denver is one of the places that started with the sanctuary city, but it really is about beyond just the art, beyond the exhibition, beyond the topic of this is who else will follow, right? Because there are implications too that, Denver's not perfect, and the way that it's managed, this whole entire process has been very difficult, and there's a lot of different layers to that. But to bring awareness is importance too of it takes a collective, and the collective is not just Colorado, it's not just Santa Fe Arts District, it's not just us, right? It's what is the U.S., what is the nation going to do about this?
Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, Juan Carlos, for being our basically first interview in our very first podcast at the Museo Podcast on air. We are very excited.
Yes.
And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we have 20 more days, right, for visitors to come and enjoy this exhibition, right?
Yes.
20 more days.
Exhibition's last day is January 26th.
Yes. So you better come soon, because it really is. It's it's one of my favorite exhibitions since I've been here. We always have amazing exhibitions, but this one, I don't know, it touches something really deep in myself, and I feel like it's just very moving, and I think it's for everyone. It's a really good one. So don't miss it, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
What do we want? Subscribe, likes, comments, share it with your tia, abuela, prima, everyone, friends.
Give us your feedback.
Anyone.
What do you want to hear? What kind of topics you want to hear from us too? So.
And Juan Carlos, because he's lovely, is going to come also for the next podcast, episode 2, in which we will be talking about our upcoming exhibition, which is also a very interesting one. Yeah. So you'll see him a lot.
Yeah, no spoilers though. So,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Juan Carlos.
Bye.